Secrets have been a crucial part of video game design since basically the start of video games. The first ever gaming Easter egg, and the coiner of the term, was found in the Atari game Adventure, and involved picking up this tiny pixel, yep, that little guy right there, taking it to a specific spot, and then activating it to see the name of the lead dev, who otherwise wasn't going to be credited. In the Batman Arkham games, the developers over at Rocksteady always left sneaky clues as to the next game in the trilogy. A secret room behind a destructible wall in Quincy Sharp's office hints at the release of Arkham City, and playing that game while your console or PC's internal date is set to December 13th, 2004, the day Rocksteady was founded, gives you a spooky hint about the yet-to-be-released Arkham Knight story from D-list villain Calendar Man.
Days were the secret, Batman, and the end of days is coming.
And more recently, in Apex Legends, finding and shooting all of these adorable Nessie plushies scattered around the King's Canyon map will summon a giant life-size one from the ocean, which more than makes up for the fact that you almost certainly lost the game trying to pull this off. Needless to say, searching for Easter eggs and hidden secrets within games is great fun. But this game design trend is more than a source of cool trivia and stealthy marketing. The fun of hunting for hidden things is a crucial component to the appeal of some beloved genres and has a bunch of wider applications in game design as a whole. Metroidvanias wouldn't work at all without a world full of goodies to sniff out, platformers use secrets to push players into mastering each level, and even battle royales like Fortnite use a constantly changing selection of secret fun things to keep you playing and discussing the game. But before we get started, we should probably agree on what a secret actually is. And by that I mean I'm going to tell you what I think one is. An easy, broad definition of a video game secret is that it's a thing in a game that's hidden, obscured, or requires some sort of extra effort beyond what's normally required to beat the game to access. These coins, or this fire flower in Mario, not a secret. This hidden room filled with coins, and this one-up you got to do some tricky platforming to get your hands on, they are secrets. Get the difference? Okay. But that begs the question, what makes a good secret? Because it'll be very easy for a developer to just hide a secret thing in a completely random, totally obscure place and make it impossible to find, but that doesn't exactly make it fun or enrich the gameplay experience, does it? I think, contrary to what might appear to be common sense, the most important thing about secrets is that they're meant to be found, and the real value of adding them to a game is in players seeking them out, not necessarily the find itself. You might think that's a typically Architect of Games wishy-washy answer, but let me explain myself. That impulse to scour a game for something you've been told you're not supposed to find, but actually are, can be used in a variety of important ways, and not just for expert players. Secrets can be used to help newbies start their journey, as well as give experienced players something to do once they've mastered everything else. Take the litany of upgrades you find lying around in Metroidvania games, for example. Stuff like the hidden upgrade gears in Steamworld Dig 2 or the mask shards in Hollow Knight. A lot of these goodies are really quite easy to spot, you just can't get them right away. This means that they end up sticking in your mind and you can come back to pick them up once you've got the right upgrade. This little gameplay loop of finding a secret and then coming back to it once you can actually acquire the damn thing is an incredibly useful tool in the game designer's arsenal, because it encourages players to build up a mental map of the area they're supposed to be exploring and then re-exploring. This cool half-pipe in the opening areas of Metroid Prime isn't just a striking bit of level geometry, it also hides a missile upgrade that observant players will spot but won't be able to get. This initial frustration, plus the fun of going back to the Chozo ruins and grabbing it once you've got the boost ball, cements the place in your memory, and acts as a clever teaching moment to remind players to be aware of half-pipe shaped structures elsewhere in the world, because they probably hide secrets as well. We tend to think of secrets exclusively in the terms of big, fun Easter eggs that make for great top 10 lists, but smaller, easier ones are a great way to guide players and subtly teach them how you want them to play. Uncovering lambda caches in Half-Life 2, secret rooms in Doom, or tucked away and often glitchy ammo crates in Halo aren't particularly challenging, but encourage players to keep their eyes open and explore off the beaten path. I like to call these kinds of secrets guidance secrets, because while they are hidden, they're actually pretty easy to find and are mostly used to teach players. Most people are savvy enough to tune out obvious tutorial messaging, but the thrill of finding something hidden, something surprising, can communicate a lesson and offer an incentive to find more very effectively. In that's 6, okay, the player is introduced to shiny trinkets, the game's optional collectibles, in the room Trench Warfare. But if you're good at exploring, or are just bad at the game like I am, you can actually find a trinket a bit earlier in the room It's a Secret to Nobody, accessible by missing the jump in the atmospheric filtering unit. This little secret area not only gives players a hands-on exploration experience, but it also tells them that falling off the bottom of the screen isn't lethal like in most other platformers. Of course, there's a clue in the name It's a Secret to Nobody beyond the Zelda reference. Most players are going to find that trinket before the tutorial, but doing so gives them an awesome feeling like they've got one up on the game, and chasing that feeling will drive them to hunt down the other 18 trinkets. Using secret hunting to guide players towards getting better at the game works for newbies, but if you just handed out freebies forever, then you wouldn't be making the most of your secrets. Another important way of approaching them is to consider that secrets can also be a great way to help players modulate the game's difficulty. The hidden quest for the Lord of the Mountain in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is a fantastic opportunity for experienced players to test their knowledge and understanding of the world. New players will dismiss this glowy green light as just another weird part of Hyrule they don't understand, and can have fun with the more obvious content until they're ready. But experienced adventurers who've mapped out Hyrule and understand how the various systems interlock will be able to track the source of the light down to Satori Mountain, named after Mr. Iwata, rest in peace, make the trek up to the Lord's Lair during the dangerous nighttime, and will have the experience required to tame him. As a reward for finding the secret, they get a cool looking mount with infinite stamina who is a perfect companion for journeying to the farthest corners of the world to hoover up those last few shrines. Secrets also reward repeat playthroughs. In Noita, the spell-slinging, powder-flinging roguelike, new players will either miss, or get scared off by, this massive lava lake in the first level. But advanced players will know how to cross it, and will be rewarded by a special secret upgrade as well as a super fast shortcut down to a later level. By having secrets represent optional challenges, designers can allow players to customize their experience and create multiple possible levels upon which the game can be enjoyed. New players, or those just looking for an easy playthrough, aren't going to be interested in super hard optional challenges, and it will probably spoil their experience if they ran into unavoidable ultra hard stuff before they were ready. Therefore, it's important to hide or gate secrets which contain a test of mastery such that only players up to the challenge need apply. In Dark Souls 2, most of the hardest bosses are optional secret fights, and can be found within hidden areas in the DLCs or as the reward for completing long, esoteric questlines, like in the case of Aldia or the Dark Lurker. Only players actively looking for a challenge are going to bother with getting to these areas, and they'll hopefully relish the challenge these secret places have to offer. Unless it's the horrible Shadow Reindeer from the DLC, in which case they can go to hell. Players looking to test their mastery will still need a bit of reinforcement to encourage them to delve into the deepest layers of the game. Many games reward the completion or collection of secrets with new content that has a higher skill ceiling or requires advanced mechanical know-how. Bayonetta 2's Take Misakuchi, Big Hammer, sorry about the terrible pronunciation, requires doing a fair bit of exploring and optional fights to get your hands on. Unlike the default guns, which are fast and agile, the hammer is slow but powerful, and can only really shine in the hands of an expert who can read enemy attack patterns and knows when to strike. If a new player tried using the big hammer, chances are they die very quickly. But for someone on their journey to mastery, not only is it a fun reward, but only they will be able to fully understand and appreciate its use. And that brings me neatly on to the final and most important rule of a good secret, that they've got to make the player feel special. All this time I've been going on about secrets that, give or take a few examples, you as a player are more or less intended to find through normal gameplay, and this is a completely valid approach to secret design. But what about those big, flashy, elusive secrets that I was going on about at the start of the video? What's so special about them? Well, it's because they're exclusive. Secrets like Spelunky's Eggplant Run take a complete and total intimacy with the game to pull off. For those who don't know, Spelunky is a really hard roguelike platformer. It's tough enough to beat normally, let alone doing a playthrough where you collect all the secret Egyptian artifacts, unlock the secret hell level, and fight the secret final boss. But there's one more challenge for truly dedicated players. When you sacrifice a present to Kali the Blood Goddess, she gives you an eggplant. Or an aubergine if you're civilized. This thing is pretty much useless, and splats if you drop it. But if you manage to bring it all the way to King Yama down in Hell, which requires total mastery of all Spelunky's mechanics, including the fiddly hired hands, you get to transform him into an eggplant and pretty much skip the fight. A journey which is, of course, way harder than just playing normally and fighting him legit. This almost joke is a special little moment shared between you and the developer. To truly appreciate it, you need a level of love for the game on par with that of Derek Hughes, and it's a final little capstone to say, well done, you did it. These sorts of high-level prestige secrets don't really need to give players help like guidance secrets, or extra content as an incentive to keep playing like mastery secrets, because if you like the game enough to pursue these bad boys, then simply getting acknowledged for your achievement by the developers is reward enough. Fairs is actually a really great example of all three types of secret in one. Oh, by the way, there are some spoilers for Fairs coming up, obviously, so if you don't want to hear them, skip to this timestamp, okay? The yellow cubes require a bit of dimension flipping, but are generally easy to find and are all you need to finish the game. Blue anti-cubes require some riddle solving and mastery of the game's obscure language, and are really for more advanced players. In return for getting all of them, expert Fez players get to see the real ending. Finally, you've got the red cubes, which, true to form, don't really do much of anything. Each one of these requires incredibly in-depth effort to find, and back in the day, some of them took the entire internet working as a team to decipher. Seriously, these things are nuts. The black monolith puzzle was so fiendish that it took an entire team of players not to solve it, because that was too hard, but to brute force it, and to try and work out a hypothetical reasoning for the solution after the fact, which involves the creator Phil Fisher's love for 2001: A Space Odyssey and some insanity involving the game's Xbox Live release date. Because only the most dedicated players are going to be going after the red cubes, all they need as a reward is prestige, represented in the cubes forming a lovely image of a heart when you put them all together. Ah. Fez is a game all about uncovering hidden layers, or I guess, sides, and it's possible that many people have beaten the game without ever realising that the red cubes even exist, and that's what makes them so special. To collect one is a mark of honour, and collecting them all shows that you loved Fez so much that you were willing to find and complete literally everything the game had to offer. That's why I think the answer to what makes a good secret has to come down to not how well it's hidden, or what reward it unlocks, but the appreciation of a game you've got to have in order to seek them out in the first place. A developer putting little jokes, nods and optional things into the game, either to help you, test you, or praise you for dedicating time to it, shows an understanding of the different ways people are going to play their game. Undertale has a secret storyline and bosses because Toby Fox knew players would try to murder everything. Rockstar put their infamous "there are no Easter eggs here, go away" sign on top of this bridge because they knew players would try to get out of bounds with the jetpack. And the Stanley Parable has a secret ending involving the essence of divine art, only accessible if you play a dumb minigame for 4 hours, because the developers knew dedicated, stupid, dumb people with too much time on their hands would seek it out if it was there. Secrets are an expression of the mutual appreciation for a game shared by developer and player, and there's no better example of that than in Shadow of the Colossus. For years, the Shadow of the Colossus community scoured the game for a legendary final secret rumoured to still be in the game. Their hunt became so massive that the developers took notice, and added a special Easter egg just for them in the remaster for the PS4, the 79 Steps to Enlightenment in recognition of their dedication and love for the game, even going so far as to thank one of the main secret finders, Nomad Colossus, by name in the credits. And doesn't that say it all? Whether they give us something useful, interesting, or just a congratulations, we find secret hunting fun because it feels like we're getting more out of a game than simply a surface level look. By going off the beaten path, challenging our knowledge and skill at a game, or even using our knowledge of the underlying rules to try and break them, we're engaging with the game on a deeper level. And ultimately, that's probably what the designers wanted all along. Good secrets just encourage us to continue on that journey. And in that grand tradition, if you can decode this super secret message, you'll get a super secret surprise Easter egg. Ooh. It's totally going to be worth it. Trust me. What possible reason could I have to lie to you? Anyway, before you do that, let's get started with our usual wrap up where I tell you what cool content creating geniuses you should be watching instead of me. This time, it's Jacob Geller, who made a fantastic video you've probably seen hanging around in your sidebar about that Shadow of the Colossus secret I was on about earlier. He goes incredibly in depth and there's even a cool moral at the end. It's fantastic stuff and you should go and watch it. And of course, if you'd like to support my work, you could become one of my fantastic patrons, who are the sole reason why you're not seeing me do an advert for Raid Shadow Legends right now. If you'd like to help support free independent games media, then please consider pledging some cash, like my top tier supporters, who are Alex Launch, Asaran, Alno94, Baxter Heel, Big Chess, Brian Notariani, Calvin Han, Daniel Medjes, David Dumitrascu, Dirk Jan Karrenbeld, Doodlehog, Evie, Ibathon, Jesse Ryan, Joshua Binswanger, Lee Berman, Lucas Slack, Lunar Eagle 1996, Mace Window 54, Max Filipov, Mr. T with some tea, Patrick Romberg, Philby the Bilby, Prospero, Ray's Dad, Samuel Vanderplatz, Strateger in Ultima, Yaron Mirren, Zach Schuster, and Chow. Thank you to all those people, and to you for watching. And as a special reward for watching all the way to the end, I will tell you the passcode for the Visionaire cipher I posted earlier, and that is SECRET. SECRET. Have fun! Bye!